Weather and life both change quickly. Do you have a farm estate plan? You need to learn the best option to help your family avoid or minimize federal estate taxes and other costs.
I'm Brad Swenson, President of Swenson Investments and Commodities. We work confidentially with farmers, ranchers, and advisors to help develop the best farm estate plan.
During our Farm Basics time each week, we try to take a topic that we talk about a lot in agriculture and simplify it a little bit, or at least talk about the basics, so even if you're a non-farmer, you kind of understand what we're dealing with.
And look at it this way, when we talk about spray nozzles, what are spray nozzles? Well, if you have a garden hose, you can understand this. A garden hose just shoots out one straight stream. But you know what? You can put a finger over part of that stream and you can change how the pattern is and how that sprays out. So let's just say you're going to water some flowers. You can kind of hold your finger over the end of the garden hose and make it into kind of a fine little mist that fans out. It's the same thing that farmers are doing in their fields. They use spray nozzles to try and change that pattern, whether they want to fan that out, whether they want big droplets, small droplets. Farmers are in total control of how they're applying products in their fields.
So the two main goals with a spray nozzle is to get good spray coverage on the target weeds. And by spray coverage, we're just talking about you get all the spray onto all the different leaves of the weed. And then the other side of things is we want that spray to not drift or not go on to the neighbor's crop next to it. So it's two kind of competing things, and we want to balance those things out so we get good weed control, yet we don't hurt anybody else's crop.
Well, many times farmers are fighting those same factors when they're out in a field. And like today, it's really calm. It's really nice right now. If you were out trying to spray, all the spray droplets would fall right where you want them to fall. But let's say that a half an hour from now while we're spraying this field, the wind picks up and all of a sudden it's moving those spray droplets all over. What farmers do now is they have something called triple nozzle bodies. So they can actually have 3 different spray nozzles on their sprayer where they can just go and click, click, and move around from one spray nozzle to another. So the wind comes up, they just jump out of the sprayer, click, click, click down the spray bar, and in 2 minutes they're back in the sprayer with a whole different spray pattern to accommodate for the weather conditions they're getting.
When it comes to specific spray nozzles, what we've used for many years on our farm is called a flat fan nozzle when we're out spraying herbicides. That works great for a wide variety of herbicides. It gives us pretty good spray coverage. But the problem with the flat fan nozzle is you'll have very small droplets and you'll have some pretty big droplets all in the same batch. With turbo T-jet or air induction nozzles, these are called drift reduction nozzles, and it basically tightens up that size of the spray droplet. In other words, you don't have all the real little ones, you don't have all the real big ones, you have a more specific size of droplet, and the advantage to that is heavy droplets are going to get to the ground faster than those very small, light droplets. The very small droplets are much more likely to drift. So these air induction and turbo T-jet nozzles became really popular when Roundup started to become really popular in the United States. Well, if you had little droplets of Roundup, they might drift over to the neighbor's crop and actually hurt something. So the turbo T-jet and air induction nozzles have been great for drift reduction, not necessarily the best for spray coverage, but they definitely help reduce drift.
The other thing with flat fan nozzles, for example, is the spray coverage. Most times farmers will set up their spray bars with about a 20-inch spacing between the flat fan nozzles. And those nozzles with that spray pattern will actually overlap just a little bit. Think about it, if you're spraying, you're going to get a little bit more right below where that nozzle is than you are out at the far tips of that spray coverage. So by overlapping slightly, they get an even spray coverage across the whole field. That way they minimize any potential for crop injury and maximize weed control.
One of the other important things here with these spray nozzles is what they're made out of. They could be made out of nylon or plastic, or they could be made out of something heavy duty like stainless steel. With the spray nozzle, you want to make sure you're getting a good spray pattern all the time, so that's why farmers are encouraged to change their spray nozzles every year if they're using a lesser quality nozzle, or maybe every 2 or 3 years with a better quality nozzle. The cost of these nozzles could range anywhere from a couple bucks to $10 a nozzle, and with a wide sprayer, a farmer very well might have 50 nozzles or even 100 nozzles on a sprayer. So it could be costly to switch those nozzles out, but by the same token, if they have good spray nozzles, they get the best spray pattern and reduce the most amount of drift.
We'll talk about how important those spray nozzles could be when we're controlling our weed of the week. Can you identify this week's weed?